Congressman Gutierrez is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, as a segue to prosecutorial discretion, I'm just going to sit up here. Thank you so much. I didn't have the good fortune of being able to go to law school. I had never met Thomas Jefferson or James Madison or Ben Franklin or George Washington. I read about them. And sometimes the lawyers kind of take us down memory lanes like they're your first cousins once removed. But not having met any of them, I admit to that, not having gone to law school, so I'm a little not as prepared as the gentleman might be on the questions of law. But I've supported and I've worked harder than anyone here, at least as hard as or harder than anyone here, in working with Republicans. And you know what? They keep inviting me. They said, it'll be next week, Luis. And you know, here's our principles. And then they go, just kidding. I really didn't mean it. You know, they keep testing us and teasing us about immigration reform. We're going to do it. We're just not ready right now. The fact is that the Speaker called the President of the United States in June of this year. And he said, despite all your great efforts, Mr. President, and mine, we're not going to call a vote on immigration reform. So let's just put aside the fallacy that somehow this is disruptive to a system. It's almost as though you're coming here to tell us, oh, we were on the pinnacle of success, and had the President not acted, we'd all be convened here to do comprehensive immigration reform. The fact is that it's just not reality. So let's deal with reality. The fact is that when you and I and others were working in the Senate to pass the bill, we passed a bill here, the Sensenbrenner bill. That was immigration reform in the House of Representatives when they controlled it. They criminalized every priest, every teacher, every doctor. That was the response to the Senate bill. So let's get it very, very clear here. Every time we have sat at the table and we have said, look, tell us what it's going to take, they have refused to act. It is now 23 months into the year, and we have not seen any legislation taken from this committee to the House floor that isn't taking 800,000 young people and making them illegals once again, in the words of my colleagues. So, you know, not having met any of them, I just want to say that I did meet a few other people that I've had the privilege and the honor of meeting and working with, so I can't go back 200, 300 years or 400 years when you guys suggested prosecutorial discretion was well established in the law. I can go back to November 4th of 1999, and here it is. And I'm just going to try to read a little bit of it. It says, there has been widespread agreement that some deportations were unfair and resulted in unjustified hardship. If the facts substantiate the presentations that have been made to us, we must ask why the INS pursued removal in such cases when so many other more serious cases existed. We write to you because we believe people, you know, that discretion to alleviate some of the hardships. It says, the principle of prosecutorial discretion is well established. Indeed, INS General Counsel and Regional Counsel have taken the position apparently well-grounded in case law that INS has prosecutorial discretion in the initiation and termination of removal proceedings. Furthermore, a number of principles indicate the INS has already employed this discretion in some cases. True hardship cases call for the exercise of such discretion. And over the past year, many members of Congress have urged the INS to develop guidelines for the use of prosecutorial discretion. Guidelines for the use of prosecutorial discretion. Let me just suggest to you, I never met George Washington. I never Benjamin Franklin. You know, I know you guys like taking us down memory lane, right, with the founders. But I'll tell you what, I did meet Henry Hyde. I did meet Lamar Smith. I did meet Mr. McCollum. I did meet all of these gentlemen that have signed this. And let me just say that Henry Hyde, Lamar Smith, McCollum, and others that have signed this aren't some open borders, kind of friendly to immigrant policy kind of members of Congress. I think we could suggest that. And yet, what did they say? They wrote the Attorney General and the INS Commissioner and said, prepare guidelines. Let me just suggest to you that Idaho has 1.6 million people. We deport 400,000 a year. It would take us, if we just spent all our life in Idaho, it would take us the next 4 years. We'd have to deport. We are not going to deport ourselves out of the issue of immigration reform. We're going to have to find a solution. And instead of here arguing as though we're the Supreme Court and you guys are some, I don't know, solicitor generals telling us what is constitutional and not constitutional, I think we should roll up our sleeves and begin to do the work of fixing the immigration problem. Because we have not put one more person on the border to secure our borders, nor will we help one more family. And I would just end with this. Mr. Chairman, you know, I didn't go to law school, but it just seems to me that justice is about compassion too. It's about fairness. It's about looking and weighing the equities that people have. And I think 4 million American citizen children, we should take into consideration. Because guess what? Tonight, my grandson, he's going to be taken, and my daughter's going to go to his school and go check out his report card. She's going to be able to take him to the library. She's going to be able to help him with his homework. She's going to be able to do a lot of things, take him to soccer. There's millions of undocumented immigrants that can't do that for their American citizen children. So let's stop. Nothing has been resolved here.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your indulgence and generosity.
Congressman Cole.